This is 5 on your side at 10. Focused on you.
Thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Brent Solomon. Kelly Jackson has the night off. What a lovely night downtown, and we're in for a pretty comfortable weekend. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joining us with a first look.
That's right. We have your weather impact forecast as we head towards the weekend. All indications are that the skies are going to remain clear across the area, and these comfortable nights with temperatures that drop back into the 30s and 40s will likely continue. There's a look out at Lambert. You know what? The good news about a quiet weather pattern is that flight delays have been minimal. So if you're getting ready to head out on fall break, all is good. Temperatures around the region dropping back through the 50s right now. Some of the outlying areas in the cooler spots already down to around 40 degrees tonight. So some spots will drop back into the 30s. All of the active weather remains well to our west across parts of Nebraska, western portions of Kansas into Colorado. That'll leave us high and dry as we head into this weekend. We'll see you in a few minutes. We'll talk about the next 7 days.
All right, Scott, we'll see you shortly. Well, his name is on the St. Louis Walk of Fame, and tonight, celebrity TV host Andy Cohen hit the campaign trail for the Democratic candidate for Senate, Lucas Kunce. Both men sat down with our political editor, Mark Maxwell, in a joint interview.
Politics and pop culture collided Friday when star reality TV host Andy Cohen hit the campaign trail with Lucas Kunce. They rallied with firefighters and advocates for abortion access, both groups hoping the Democrat can pull off a November upset. Cohen and Kunce sat down for a joint interview moments after Senator Josh Hawley's campaign said, quote, Missourians, not Hollywood celebrities like Andy Cohen, will decide this election.
I've also spent more time in Missouri over the last 6 years than Josh Hawley. It's such a lazy trope to say, oh, he's a Hollywood elite. I'm a proud Missourian.
Hawley boasted his own celebrity sidekick, Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, whose viral remarks about women in the workplace recently drew swift backlash.
Homemaker.
Josh Hawley has Harrison Butker. Lucas Kunce has Andy Cohen. What is it with politicians hanging out with these guys who are so into housewives?
I can't kick, by the way. I can't kick. But I will tell you this. One thing I've learned from the Real Housewives and from women is don't tell a woman what to do. Let women have jurisdiction over themselves. And if women want to stay home and raise their kids, great. But if they don't, even better. Be the best woman you can be.
Josh Hawley recently in a speech with conservatives reminisced on those old days when men were the sole breadwinners in the home, and he advocated for a national policy where, quote, a man can support his family. Why do you think the Republican message, the Donald Trump, Josh Hawley message right now is resonating with so many men in America?
Well, I think what you find is that it's not resonating from women.
Kunce leaned on Cohen's loyal connection with his mostly female audience in a year when polls show registered women voters breaking heavily toward Democrats.
One of the things I do for a living is talk to women. And I produce shows that a lot of women watch, and I produce shows about women. And what I know for certain is that women aren't anxious to live in a Handmaid's Tale universe. That is a horror show.
Cohen, an expert with a certain flair for dramatic made-for-TV spectacles, wasn't all that impressed when Hawley tried to corner Kunce at the state fair.
Listen, if Josh Hawley was a Real Housewife, he would have been fired by now. I'll tell you that much. It's kind of one cheap stunt after the next, and I'm kind of embarrassed for him.
The two rivals debate 6 days before the election. In St. Louis, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
And you can watch Mark's full interview right now on KSDK.com and on the 5+ app. Well, the 2024 election is 18 days away now, and we have a one-stop shop with every race, so you can get up to date on what the issues are and who's running. So to check out that voter guide, go to KSDK.com. We can send it to you if you text the word guide to 314-425-5355. Tonight, a man is now charged after an hours-long standoff in Ferguson. Persecutors actually say Derek Bowser shot his brother after they got into an argument at a house on Woodwind Drive Thursday. When police arrived, Bowser barricaded himself inside the house, they say. After a 3-hour standoff, police took him into custody. His brother is recovering in the hospital right now. Bowser faces assault and armed criminal action charges. He's being held on a $250,000 bond. Well, tomorrow, a St. Charles County paramedic who died on duty will be laid to rest. Monday, Michael Clark was found unresponsive inside of a fire station. The 27-year-old joined that apartment 2 years ago. Governor Mike Parson ordered all flags flown at half-staff at government buildings in St. Charles County and at EMS stations statewide. Visitation is at 10 tomorrow morning at the Bowie Funeral Home, Cave Springs. That's followed by a funeral at 1. The procession will happen at 1:45, and here's a look at that route. It begins at the funeral home and will pass the St. Charles County Ambulance District and Fire Station 12. That's where Clark worked. It ends at St. Charles Memorial Gardens. Organizers are now asking everyone who lines that route to either park at the St. Charles County Ambulance District or at St. Peter's City Hall. Well, tonight, Missouri Task Force 1 crews are back home after the longest deployment in the program's history. More than 60 team members plus 7 K-9 units responded to the damage left behind by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. Members had been deployed since September. Some excitement tonight at Harris-Stowe State, the big event that brought huge crowds during homecoming. Well, it's homecoming season, and this was the scene at Harris-Stowe State University tonight. A packed house for the 38th annual Midwest March Down. The Big Step Show raises money to give scholarships to high school students in St. Louis. The Alpha Eta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity sponsors that event. Weather impact now. Chief Meteorologist Scott Cottle promised he'd be back, and there he is.
Yes, you know, I kind of just watching those guys step.
They were having a good time.
Wow, can you imagine the calories burned out there this evening? Oh, what an amazing thing.
Definitely.
Speaking of burning some calories, our farmers have been doing that lately. Deanne shared this picture. There's your harvest underway. Of course, that's been happening lately. Dry weather is favorable for our folks in the agricultural world to have that harvest. What's the weather impact this weekend? Well, it is a weekend to be outside with pleasant fall weather across the region as we head into the weekend. We'll have the cool mornings and the warm afternoon. We are talking about some fall foliage beginning to show some color, especially as you head down into the Ozarks. So maybe this is a weekend to put on the sunglasses, hop in the car, and head down Highway 44 into the Ozarks, where you will find some of the better color right now. Not near peak, but starting to at least see it. Part of the reason, these very cool nights that we've had this week. Mount Vernon's already down to 40 degrees. Effingham is 45. Contrast that with Greenville, Illinois, where it's 55 degrees. A little bit of a breeze there. Sullivan's 54, but Farmington's 44. Temperatures vary across the region tonight, largely due to whether there's a breeze blowing in your location or there isn't. Winds are light out of the east at 3 miles per hour at Lambert, down to 54 degrees. The air is still very dry. That dew point at 39. Our high temperature today up to 71 degrees. The low this morning was 41. That tends to average out a little below average for this time of year. Outlying areas still back into the 30s overnight tonight. Low to mid 40s in town. Could there be a little bit of patchy frost here and there? Sure, it's not a big deal. Won't be nearly as cold as what we saw earlier this week. Temperatures tomorrow rebound quickly all across the bi-state region. It's homecoming tomorrow at Mizzou. Looks like there's plenty of sunshine because really as you go all the way from the Kansas-Missouri line to the Atlantic Ocean, you can basically drive without seeing a cloud in the sky right now. All of the action's focused out to our west at this point, and there's a pretty good feed of moisture. Those atmospheric rivers starting to kick up once again, coming out of the Pacific into the Pacific Northwest. This is a wet pattern for those areas, not for us. Our rain chances will be quite limited through the next few days. So as we head into Saturday, whether you're going to Chicago, Kansas City, Branson, maybe you're heading over towards Indianapolis, down to Nashville. Everybody has a great weekend. Lots of sunshine expected. Clear skies will rule the roost as we head through this weekend. Your hour-by-hour forecast here locally on Sunday. Temperatures will start in the 40s for most of us. back up to around 60 by 10 o'clock, into the mid, perhaps upper 70s during the afternoon hours as we work our way through Sunday. Here's a look at your next 7 days, and you find quiet weather here. Not a whole lot happening weather-wise. We will be having a chance for a shower or two Monday night into Tuesday. If we see that, the chances of actually seeing decent rainfall are pretty skimpy. Now, the Climate Prediction Center actually came out with their winter outlook for December, January, and February. And here we are in St. Louis and across most of Missouri and Illinois with equal odds. What does this mean? Well, there's really no signal that it's going to be warmer or cooler. There is a better chance it'll be warmer down to the south, maybe a bit cooler farther to the north and northwest. Now, as far as the rainfall goes, well, there's still not a clear signal for St. Louis. We end up once again with equal chances according to the Climate Prediction Center. The thing that drives these weather patterns in the winter, yes, it's a La Nina, but it's not a particularly strong one. That's only part of the equation. The other part of the equation that we deal with is something that we really don't get a handle on about 2 or 3 weeks before it gets going. And to be honest, Brett, until we get into about the beginning of November, that's when we'll start to see the jet stream pattern shift out of this more weak and wimpy summertime pattern to more of an excitable and changeable pattern. And once that happens, we'll have the opportunity to kind of fine-tune our options.
Yeah, we were talking about La Nina earlier today, and you said it could go either way is what they're thinking.
Yeah, it could go either way. So at this point, we're not thinking it's going to be a brutal winter, but we'll wait and see.
My bets and hopes are on a mild winter.
I think it'll be warmer than average.
All right. Well, my friends, we want to thank you for joining us for 5 on Your Side at 10. Also, keep in mind that we're always streaming on 5+. Right now, we want to turn it over to Corey Miller and Annie Kroll because it's time for 5 on Your Side Live.